Happy Monday, guys. Been a couple weeks since we had Mindset Monday. Carl was off on vacation last week. Hopefully feeling well rested and rejuvenated. And we're excited to get back to Mindset Monday with you guys. So looking forward to it. Carl, how was your time off? Tell us about it.
It was awesome. Although I spoke to you quite a bit on a deal that we've been working on, but apart from that, I took some time out, was relaxing with the family. I was supposed to be actually flying on vacation to my place in Portugal, but with all the travel restrictions and stuff, we just stayed at home, enjoying the new house and the new garden, and the weather was pretty nice. And it was my wedding anniversary yesterday, so I had a great weekend with Her Majesty, Mrs. Allen, and we just had a really good, fun weekend. So, but it's good to be back, dude.
That fine lady of yours,
that fine lady of mine. But it's good to be back. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. Yeah, it's good to be back in the saddle. I can't believe it's 4 p.m. Monday already for me. I was up bright and early, 5:30. Yeah, it's good to be back. How was your weekend?
My weekend was all right. It was full of moving, Carl.
Yeah, you were moving stuff, weren't you?
Yeah. So my brother, my older brother, moved, so I went and helped him. Although I'm very much feeling I'm past my prime moving assistance days in life. So looking forward to hopefully not too many of those. And of course, Carl, one of those moves was you. I was moving and packing your stuff up. So given you can't come to the States, and we have to clean your apartment out. So that was
a sad day, the end of an era, giving up my amazing Baltimore apartment. But hey, Adam, I gave you my TV and my PS4, so I can play you at FIFA remotely.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll play you. I'm kind of past my video game days, but yeah, the plus your 12-year-old kicks your butt, but you kick mine. So let's not daisy chain how terrible that would be. So no, but it was good all the way around. Definitely not looking forward to moving anyone or anything anytime soon. So looking to get past that. A lot of people popping in. So glad to see you guys. So happy to have you guys here. Kevin, Teresa, Emily, Shahar, Kevin, Faith, Sonia, Donna, Stuart, Jan. We've got all of you good guys. So glad you guys are here. Kevin's wished you and your wife a happy anniversary, Carl. The big 8 years. The big 8 years. It's very exciting.
8 years, yeah. We've been together for 15 years this November, but we got married 8 years ago yesterday. So thank you for all the well wishes.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a few more in here, but Jeff's here as well. But no, guys, tell us how your weekend was. Tell us how your summer's going. Last time we really got together was before the 4th of July, obviously a big holiday here in the U.S., celebrating our independence from the likes of Carl. And so always looking forward to seeing how people are enjoying their summer. And for us as deal makers, what is this doing for your prospects? What is this doing for your deal making journey? We've got a great session today, which is resuming after kind of taking a break and taking a rest. Some relevant timing with Carl being on vacation last week. I'm actually heading on vacation next week for some time. So it's just that time of year where we can take breaks, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how that impacts your journey and why it's important to take a break even when we're all pushing as hard as we can. It's really important to get into that. So we'll dive in here in a minute or so, but guys, really excited to have you here, and certainly thankful for you guys joining us.
Yeah, and I know like 2020 is kind of a strange year with all the things that have been going on with COVID-19, and it's interesting. I didn't go anywhere on vacation, as I mentioned. was supposed to be flying to Portugal, but didn't. We stayed at home. But it's still really important, even if you don't go anywhere, you don't physically travel anywhere. It's good just to kind of kick back and just, even if it's a week, just have that period of reflection and have a little bit of downtime. And it's really interesting, like, the stuff that can come to you. When you're just down, you come out of the lines of action and you just reflect on your journey of where you've been so far, and the lessons that you've learned, any mistakes that you've made, any great wins or great best practices that you've picked up. It's great just to pause and take a breath and just reflect on some of that, and then you come back, you've got more energy, you've got more purpose, and you just go again, armed with all of those experiences that you've reflected on.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important for people to realize every one of us are the CEO of You Incorporated, right? We're running our own deal-making businesses, and we're running the business of us and who we are and what our pursuit and passion is. And I think it's really important for people to remember that as the CEO, co-founder, founder, what have you, of You Incorporated, it's important that you act and behave in the same way any major CEO would. Even though we always strive to work on our businesses and not in our businesses, when you're talking about the business of you, it's important to be able to step back and elevate yourself to that 30, 40, 50,000 foot view where you can take that bigger perspective of what's happening in your world, in your life, what's important. It's a great time to go back and remember your why. Why are you doing this? What are you looking to accomplish? What are your motivators? What are your things that are really honing you in and driving you forward? And if you're not in a place or a position where you can articulate it, or you're still feeling the same drive, the same passion, taking advantage of a break to kind of elevate above it, rise above it, and hone back in on what's important is just super, super critical to your success long term. It's that rejuvenation and recharging, that drive and motivation that's inherent for any business owner, investor, or otherwise. And it's important that you're doing it and getting in that habit of doing it with some regularity. And we certainly don't look to own businesses or invest in businesses just for our health. No, we're looking to do it to make money, and we're looking to do it to facilitate other things in life. Those are our whys. And if we're not tied to that why, and we're not really reconnecting with that why, Carl, you spent a week ultimately leading up to your 8th anniversary. That's exciting. And so much of that week, whether you're historically going on vacation somewhere around the world or even staying in your own backyard, there's a real intensity and intentionality that comes with that kind of decoupling from what's happening in the world and stepping back and really honing in on what's driving value for you.
Yeah, and it was a really kind of very different vacation for me this time, because normally, because I travel so much and I spend so much time normally away from my family, vacation time for me is always about reconnecting with my wife and my son and hanging out with them. But obviously, because I've been locked in the Lancashire countryside with them for the last 4.5 months, it was a different kind of vacation. So to be honest, I did 3 things. Obviously, I spent a lot of time with the family. I read like 8 books last week. I'm a massive reader, especially when I'm on vacation. So I was reading some really, really cool books. And then the previous weekend, so the start of my vacation, if you will, all the pubs and restaurants reopened in England. So
they did it just for you, obviously. They did it just for you.
I freaking spent some money last week, let me tell you. I went to my local pub, I think, every single day, which was quite interesting. And the cool thing is that they've got this machine where you go to the machine and it's got facial recognition software, and they take your temperature and then approve you to go into the pub. And I think after about the 4th consecutive day, it was beeping and saying, "Oh, not you again!" Like, back. You might as well just have lived there. But no, it was good. So a very weird, very strange type of vacation for me, but nonetheless, big recharge, a lot of reflection, a lot of thinking about the rest of the year, resetting a lot of my goals. So I tend to focus my goals annually, and then I check in and I tweak them quarterly. I kind of live like a 90-day year. Obviously, the But there's a lot of stuff kind of happening right now, which is really, really cool and exciting. So it gave me a chance to really kind of reflect and recast what I want to achieve this year. So and I urge everyone to kind of do that. No matter what you're doing on vacation this summer, if you're staying at home, you're going somewhere, just take that little bit of time and just, as Adam mentioned, reflect on your purpose and your why. Why are you doing this? What great stories and best practices can you capture from the first half of this year? What lessons did you learn? And remember what we said 2-3 weeks ago, there is no failure, only feedback. You only fail when you quit. So don't quit. If something goes wrong, learn from it. It's like Edison. It took him 1,000 times to learn how not to produce electricity. Then he did it on 1,000 and whatever time. So, that's the kind of mindset we all need to have is learn from the experiences you've had, even if they're not really positive ones. And as long as you learn from those experiences, it's going to make you a better, stronger, faster, more hungry deal maker.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, right? Like so often we kind of lose track. We lose track, and it's easy, right? And even guys, I'd encourage you to save this video somewhere so you can go back and watch this as a reminder, right? That it's okay to take that break. It's okay to take that pause, and by doing that, it's going to allow you the opportunity to focus in on what that critical next step is for you. And it's different for everyone. What a next step for me versus Carl versus any one of you guys who are here with us today just looks slightly different. And that's okay. But it's important to realize that you do need to step back and you do need to take an opportunity to refocus and recalibrate what's important. Because we also have to remember why we all start on this journey isn't necessarily why we finish the journey. Our whys can change, right? I think about, say you've got a specific number in mind. Hey, I'm trying to make a certain amount of money, whether it's income or save a certain amount. Or I'm trying to buy that house somewhere, or go on certain trips somewhere, or spend certain time with people. Realize that all of that can change, and it's okay that it changes because we all evolve as humans. And by having this kind of focused step back period, you can reevaluate whether your why is still the same why you thought it was, and are you running in the direction required to hit that? I think ultimately, we're all here for the same reason. We all want to be executors of our dreams and visions and goals. Carl and I are certainly here to be, frankly, the best mentors we can be, and that's very critical to us. It's certainly why we run Dealmaker Wealth Society in the way we do, and that's something that's pretty integral to us. We take a lot of pride in hearing of the successes that all of you guys have, and that's a big why for our journey. But our own whys for our own paths have evolved over the years. Carl, I would suggest, your why, say 13 years ago, would look a whole lot different than 12 years ago, right? It's the difference between having your youngest son and not having your youngest son. Those things change things, right? You went from working at a large corporate to running the exact opposite direction. And so it's okay for the why to change. You've just got to realize you've got to step back, reassess, recalibrate, and make sure you're still running in the direction you want to be running.
Yep.
So that's what we're talking about, guys. We're going to get into your questions here shortly, but if you guys have taken a break or a vacation anytime recently, I know with COVID, it's always going to look different. Tell us about your experience. Tell us how you were able to step back and reestablish your why. Just drop it in the comments. We'd love to read them off and share them with the group. But tell us how you've been able to articulate and understand your why by taking a break and kind of resuming after that. It's important that we take that charge. Teresa said she's been working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So that's a very important thing. Find balance for you and whatever that looks like. Let's see. Marland is, my why is time, more free time and time spent on making myself wealthy instead of someone else. and he also has a 5-year vision of where he wants to be. And that's amazing, Marlon, right? I would say Carl and I have similar visions, and it's mostly around time, right? We want the financial capacity to have the time to do with and how we want to do things and where we want to do things. So Marlon, I think that's amazing. So anyone else, feel free to drop it in there. We're looking forward to seeing your why, and then we'll get to the questions here in a few minutes. But Carl, I mean, think through your journey. You're just a couple days older than I am. How did your why and motivation for what you want to accomplish change from the time you were 22 and realizing being an engineer wasn't what you wanted to do to where you are now?
Yeah, so I would say my working career has kind of had 3 phases. So the first phase of my working career was only a matter of weeks. I was working as a structural engineer, and I was very, very good at it. I won a big national prize at university. But for me at the time, I was about to get married for the first time, not the second time, the first time, to the mother of my eldest son, Ryan. And I just wasn't content earning such little money for what I believe were my skills. And so I went into the world of investment banking because I thought I'd be very good at it. And obviously it pays very well. And I thought it'd be a great kind of skill set to kind of learn. So then I went through phase 2 of my working life, if you will. Did some phenomenal things, made a lot of money, met some phenomenal people. And then I would say where my life really changed is when I kind of reset my priorities. And, I've told the story, a lot of times. Anyone that's been on the training webinar, or you've heard me speak about this, it took almost missing the birth of my 12-year-old son to really kind of redefine what my goals were in life. I was making a lot of money, but I was overweight. I was chain smoking. I was practically an alcoholic. I was flying all over the world, and not being there for my family. And my wife went into labor early, and I had to get my butt out of Russia back to the UK in time for my son to be born. And I was holding the little guy in my arms, and I just thought, something flicked in my head. I thought life should be about this little guy, and he needs you. And I quit. So I walked away from HP. I said goodbye to $1 million worth of options, because at the time, Josh and Julia were just more important to me, and I quit. And it was scary. It was really scary. I had the financial kind of set up to retire, if you will. I was only 37. I could have retired, but anyone that knows me knows that, I still have so much to give and so much to accomplish. And it made me really ill. Mentally, I really struggled because I felt like I just didn't have a purpose in my life to do things and achieve things. I'd gone from 100 miles an hour, and while it was great to have a little bit of a break, after a few weeks, I decided I needed to get back in the game. But I didn't want to work for anybody else, and I wanted a work-life balance so I could be with my family. So I designed the next part of my journey based on the situation that I wanted to be in with my family. And, we can all do the same thing. And, for any of you that are kind of stuck on that, for any of you that are kind of scratching your head and thinking, well, why would I want to be a deal maker? Why would I want to own businesses? Go through the RPM exercise that's in the training. And I'll give you 10 seconds on it now. Define the result that you want. What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? Just do it on 6 months. What's the result I want by the 1st of January 2021? Describe it. I want to own this type of business in this location. It's going to be this kind of size. I want to work in it or work on it, whatever your goals are. And clearly define what you want. And then step 2, define why you want it. What are the reasons? What are the things that are going to power you through and follow through to achieve that goal? Is it because you want to build a legacy? Is it because you're like me, you want to spend more time with your family? Is it pure wealth or cash flow? or pride or ego, whatever the reasons are, whatever the emotions are that are going to fire you up to take constant action and follow through to achieve that goal by the end of the year. Goals are smart goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they're actionable, they're relative, and they're time bound, they're realistic. So define what those are. And then once you know the goal that you want and you're specific and you know exactly why you want it in loads of visceral kind of emotional detail, that's going to give you all that fuel and leverage to keep pushing every single day to take the action. It's a journey. You're going on a journey. And the more action you have, the more power you have, the more fuel you have, you'll just go there faster and more effective. And then it's all about taking action. You know what you want. You know why you want it. You guys know how to do deals. Actually doing the deal is the easiest part once you've got the fuel. You know how to find businesses. You know how to meet sellers. You know how to use the models to structure deals. You know how to get CPAs on board and lawyers to do due diligence. You know how to close deals if you're in the program. The actual training and the mechanics is the easy part. You need that fuel in your belly to push you forward to take that action each and every day. So if you're struggling with that right now, use your vacation downtime to really just reconnect with that purpose inside of you and why you actually want to achieve the goals that you're setting. And you can do this in any area of your life. Obviously, we want you to do it for doing deals, which is why we're here, but you can do it for relationships, for health, for wellness. It doesn't matter, but just reconnect with the purpose in your life, especially when you have a little bit of downtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reset, right? That's the taking advantage of the downtime and kind of moving things into the place where you need them to be or want them to be or have to be, so you can kind of drive forward, right? It's just super important. All right, guys, we're gonna start doing Q&A here. So if you've got questions, just drop them in. If you want to share what your why is and how you're targeting that, share that. I think you guys get a lot of value from sharing with each other, right? Marlon, we already talked about his, and immediately Shahar jumped in and said, "Hey, I would love to hear how you created your 5-year vision." So guys, people love that interaction and want you guys to be able to share. So drop them in the comments, and then also, let's get some questions queued up so Carl and I can work through those. And if you haven't done so already, we certainly appreciate it. This is our shameless plug. Go ahead and hit like on the video, share the video. The best reason to share the video is because it gets saved to your page. And when you want to come back and watch these things, you don't have to go and try to find it. It's already there. It's right on your page. So when you share it, it's ready to go. When you like the video, obviously more people get to see it. We get to get kind of better questions, more questions, kind of more interaction with you guys, which is what we're looking for. All right, so let's kind of jump into to questions here. Let's see. Well, I just got a shout out Steve here. He got heads of terms with 2 different businesses, one an accounting practice and the other in a client services company, both cash rich, profitable, and virtually no debt required. Steve, that is awesome. You're, let's see, HOT signed. I'd say he's we'll call it the 30% mark. You get the final legals. You're at the 70% mark, because remember, you still got to grow that company and transition it. So nice freaking work, Steve. Nice work. Let's see. Kevin's got a shout out for you, Carl. He said, "Carl, hey, I forgot we can do this." Kevin said, "Carl, as you suggested, as Carl and I suggested, went out and found a GM with 35 years experience as a licensed architect and builder to partner with first deals in construction here in the Southwest." Kevin, nice work, man.
That's how we do it. That's what you need to do.
Absolutely. All right, so we got a question here from Dave. What are your thoughts on IT support, managed services businesses? No assets, but they have great margins. Carl, you want to take this?
Yeah, so absolutely great businesses, for sure. I think 2 of the disadvantages of doing deals in a sector like that is they tend to be owned by owners, typically entrepreneurs. So they often don't have the distressed seller mindset that we're actually looking to achieve. Remember the triad. Number one, deal fits you. Number two, you've got a motivated seller or a distressed seller of a good business. In a traditional business, like a manufacturing or an engineering business, the market's full of those types of sellers. In the IT managed services space, not so much. So you've got to look a bit harder. And then point three of the triad, obviously, is the financial DNA to be able to do a leverage buyout. Clearly, with an IT managed services business, you're right, they have no assets. They just have cash flows. They don't even have accounts receivables. Customers are buying per person, per seat, or per month with a credit card or paying on very, very short payment terms. So they're even paying up front, which is great for the cash flow and the cash conversion cycle of the business, but doesn't really help you when it comes to traditional asset-based lending. So the way to finance a deal like that is you have to get a cash flow lend. Or you can go to the SBA. And for those, you're probably going to need some equity inside of that deal as well. And if you don't have the equity personally, like our colleague Kevin did before, you just got to go out and you've got to partner with somebody that's got that capital, that can sign that personal guarantee, which you'll need to do for an unsecured loan. They become your wing person, your wing man, your wing lady in the business, but you can still do the heavy lifting of finding that deal, closing that deal, and then you're owning the business together. Better to own 50% or 60% or even 40% of something rather than 100% of nothing. Because once you've done one deal, then you can roll up. You can buy other businesses in that sector and create a larger organization. But I love the sector, great sector. And I know a lot about the IT managed services space from my time at HP. So, yeah, great industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's, I love the space as well. I think there's a ton of opportunity, just an absolute ton of opportunity. So if you can find some good businesses, yeah, as Carl said, partner up, try to find a way to get those deals done. Let's see here. Let's see, Jeff, he has a 5-year plan that involves developing a nationwide group of companies in his chosen sector through acquisition. He's had some initial telephone discussions with sellers, with follow-up site visits over the next couple of weeks, making good progress getting that first deal over the line. Really awesome, Jeff. Love that traction you're making.
And I like the car, Adam. I like the car on his profile picture. Reminds me of Rolls-Royce Dawn we hired in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, yeah, nice little car there. Let's see. Teresa wants to be making a steady stream of income via inbound closing. I want to do this because I want to be able to put funds towards whole life insurance policies for my family. The whole life insurance policies are my vehicles for creating lasting wealth for my family. You know, that's great. You know, everyone's got a different why, and it's amazing that people can rally around whatever their why is. Teresa, you know, she's doing this for her family, so there's a why. She's got her path of how to create wealth and then turn that wealth into something more sustainable, and her, you know, for her and what she's comfortable with. That's super exciting. So this is
when you can link your little quick pro tip, when you can link your passion and your purpose back to your family, that gives you even more rocket fuel to follow through. Because when it's just about yourself, from my experience, it's not as real, it's not as visceral. When you can link it to the people in your life that you love and depend on you, it takes you to a whole different dimension in terms of your ability to kind of follow through on this.
Yep.
So that's just a quick little pro tip on that. So Teresa, well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this one's going to be for you, Carl. I don't know if you can handle this one. I'd very much like a coach to take me through the process. Couldn't you please recommend how to go about finding one? Who do you know? Who do you know who could coach people to get the business buying process?
I know a guy. I know pretty strange guys from England. He shaved all his hair off. just try and be cool. Like,
you just want to be like me, man. You just want to be like me.
But yeah, if you're not in the program, get in the program. Join the academy. Come on the calls every week. We'll rip your deals apart and put them back together and share how to close them. We'll coach you each and every week in each and every step along the journey. I actually used to do one-on-one mentoring, by the way, but it got to a point where I had a 2-year waiting list because I could only mentor about 15 people at any one time. I could have made millions of dollars as a personal M&A coach, but that wasn't my purpose. Was to serve thousands and thousands and thousands of people, which is why we built the programs that we've built. This is not about financial success for me. This is not about money. I make money from actually doing deals. This is all about serving people and solving the major problems that we have in our industry, that people don't know how to buy businesses, and there's millions and millions of businesses for sale. And I actually feel really sorry for all those sellers that don't have an exit. So I'm trying to connect the two constituencies together, get more deals done. And for me, that's what my legacy is all about. It's serving and helping and empowering people to change their lives and get them out of situations that, I was in 12, 13 years ago. And we've seen that, Adam, haven't we, with people like Coston and Chris and Wayne and all the other hundreds and hundreds of people that we turned into phenomenally successful deal makers. So I don't do the one-on-one stuff anymore, but the academy is by far the best option for you on that. It's a phenomenal program. Yeah. And once the travel restrictions end, we'll be having another meetup as part of that program at some stage, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So Shahar's, certainly not making light of your desire for coaching. That's not our intent. But you said you did not find the academy sufficient. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's if you want to hit customer service, and we can talk about what the limitations there were for you. But academy is not designed to be one-on-one. It's a scale issue. Typically Carl and I work more directly with people through Prox, our private equity, and our deal team there. But, that's a separate thing in general. Okay. So here's one, Carl, that's certainly a topic pretty frequently at a mastermind you and I are a part of. And that is, does anyone leverage the entrepreneurial operating system model after the purchase? So for those who don't know, this is the EOS system. It's based on the book Traction. And Dan's asking any thoughts and results. What do you got there, Carl?
Yeah, so for those of you that haven't read Traction, so the whole EOS movement was created by a guy called Gino Wickman, and he's kind of piggying off the back of Michael Gerber and the E-Myth. So E-Myth and the EOS, very, very similar. They're just ways of structuring a business to operate where the owner of the business doesn't necessarily have to work in the business. And I'm not going to dominate the kind of session by teaching you how it all works. Our new program that we're launching in a month or so about bolt-on acquisitions, we get into that in a lot more detail as part of that program. But there's a really cool book you should read rather than Traction, which is the how-to-do manual. The better book is called Get a Grip. So it's written by the same guys, and it's a fable. It's like a business story. It's about an imaginary IT services company that's in chaos, and they go through the whole EOS implementation and process and end up building a truly phenomenal company. So, is it something that I've definitely used in businesses? Absolutely. I ran Ninja on the EOS program before I sold it to Adam and Agora. I've used it in some of the other businesses that I've bought and owned over previous years. I absolutely love it. It fits me perfectly because one of the key takeaways in the book is it shows you how, as the visionary of the business, as the owner of the business, you can just do the work working on your business and then leave the kind of day-to-day management of your business to, we call them GMs, general managers. In these books, they call them integrators. That's the new key sexy term that people use for the person that's really coordinating a lot of that day-to-day tactical operational work of working in the business. So definitely something that I would recommend. And the better book is called Get a Grip. You'll be able to read it in probably 3 or 4 hours, and it's a really really cool story. So recommend you read it.
Yeah, very good. For me, I would say I'm less high on EOS as a full implementation. Just from my own experiences, I think there's a lot of value in some of the elements there, but it's as a full system. It's the very typical. Your mileage may vary depending on who you are, what your business is, and more importantly, the people you have in the business. Okay, so let's see here. We got another comment here from Jeff. Had a discussion with a financier last week who advised it was critical to ascertain whether the seller would entertain an LBO structure before undertaking any discussions to avoid wasting time. However, I'm inclined to have discussions, visit with the seller to build a relationship before broaching the deal structure. Thoughts?
Absolutely.
Thoughts are, Jeff, absolutely. You always want to meet them first. You always want to build a relationship because you can't actually get a real sense for their motivation as a seller until you've had that conversation. It's one of those things you don't like. No one advertises, hey, I'm willing to do a full seller note on this. No one advertises that so explicitly. You've got to build a relationship and build a situation where you can tie the financials of the business to the other elements. So, it's just super important. I think we might have lost Carl. There he is. You back?
Yeah, I think you lost me then.
Yeah, for a few minutes.
I don't mind. Yeah, one of the joys of living in the country.
Yeah, inconsistent connection. Yeah. All right. Well. Anyways, Jeff. So both Carl and I feel the exact same way when it comes to that question. Definitely want to still start building that relationship before you jump into deal structure, because they don't. I mean, if you walk in and say, "Hey, I'm going to take your accounts receivable. I'm going to go discount it. I'm going to take your assets and bring some financing on those. So I'm going to lever your company up and go." They have no understanding of what that even means to begin with, let alone what the impact is to them in terms of their own finances and what they're expecting from a sale. Just not a great way to do things. Let's see here. Dan, you're asking if anyone has redacted deal closing documents. I can only imagine you're just looking for what the legal language looks like. I would recommend you just work with an attorney on that, because there's so many variables. I wouldn't want you to get in any way, shape, or form thinking about what that could look like for you. You need to work with a good attorney who can walk you through exactly what you need there. It's never a copy paste job in full. Everything's unique. Different risks, different warranties, different liabilities. Just
the different states, different sectors, different sellers.
It's
impossible to have a boilerplate document for either an asset purchase agreement or a sale and purchase agreement. They are all completely different. So to Adam's point, go partner with a lawyer once you've signed an LOI and let them just do it for you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so Dominic, if we're looking at multiple businesses across similar industries, is that an issue? My goal is to just buy and sell cash flowing assets. I have an Excel of about 100 different businesses from before I joined the program. It is hard zoning in on one industry because I like multiple sectors. Would you just pick one? and pick it based on how it looks on paper. So there's a couple of things here. I would never pin all my hopes on one opportunity, because there's a attrition that happens through the negotiation, evaluation, and closing process. So if you got 10 deals coming in one side, you're not going to get 10 businesses closed out the other side, right? You got to have a lot more quality shots on goal. What I would say, though, is it's okay to be looking across multiple industries if you've got the skill set to support it. But don't let a kind of widespread, I got a smaller camera, don't let like widespread focus. Don't let widespread focus distract you and become shiny object syndrome as you kind of bounce around from opportunity to opportunity. Take a step back, critically evaluate your approach and your process to attacking this stuff, and then go from there. It's just, you're not going to, again, it's okay to do multiple industries. Just have a really good understanding of your attack strategy to manage that kind of deal flow and manage that kind of negotiation scale. So, anything to add to that, Carl?
Yeah, just stay in your lane. It's fine to do deals in areas you're passionate about, but if you haven't got the industry expertise, just go partner with somebody that has. It's really hard to do your first deal in an area that you know nothing about, that you can't add any value to the business. It sounds like you just want to be a business flipper, where you want to buy then sell, cash flowing assets, as you mentioned. I think that's great. But especially for your first few deals, do it in areas that you know and that you understand, or you can partner with somebody that can help you do that. It's really, really important with that first deal. There were some questions earlier around, when to tell a business owner that you're going to be leveraging the deal and there's going to be seller financing. If you have absolutely no experience in that industry, that's a tougher conversation versus you knowing that space, being that safe, trusted pair of hands that's going to be a great new custodian for that business. So definitely stick to what you know, especially in those first few deals. Once you've done a few deals, you can be a bit more industry agnostic. You'll develop more horizontal skill sets, as we call them. Just makes the process a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so this is a good one. Carl, you and I were literally talking about this morning. You ready? Hey, from Roland Fraser's ad. Did you know that in the U.S., an average of 595,000 businesses permanently shut down each year? That's an average of 1,600 a day. When they're gone, so are their email lists, customer databases, inventory assets, social media channels, etc. All right, Carl, I'll let you take this away because we literally were talking about this morning.
Yeah, so I did know that data. And the reason I know that data is I built that freaking model. And he's just stolen it, which, I think he has form on that point. We won't go into that in a bit more detail. But he's took my data and he's using it on his own ads, which good for him. Good for him. Yeah, I did know that because I came up with the data. Yeah.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, it's part of why there's such a big opportunity, Dan, in this kind of small business acquisition space, is that there are literally hundreds of thousands of businesses that shut down each year that have viable assets, viable cash flows, viable employees and staff and talent and everything else you can imagine. And so to just see them shut down without transitioning, it's tough, right? If those 595,000 businesses, if they averaged 5 employees, right? That's 3 million people who are losing their job every year and having to go find a new job. 3 million.
Yeah. And it's when you think about it, it makes sense, right? Closing the business down is actually the #1 exit strategy for small and medium businesses in the United States. There's 2.44 million businesses for sale today, right now, and only 1 in 11 will sell within the next 12 months. And there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, most people don't know how to do deals. They don't know how to buy businesses, which is why, we're coaching people how to do it. It's why Roland's doing it. It's why other people are doing it. Some of those people have got lots of experience in doing it, and some of them don't. We'll let you do your own due diligence on who those people are. But the other problem as well is, the big myth in industry that, if you want to go and buy a $1 million business, you've got to personally cut $1 million check. If you're in any of our programs and you've spoken to the people like us that have closed tons of deals, you'll know that you can use other people's money to do those deals. And that's one of the reasons why so many businesses don't sell. There's just not enough qualified buyers with the knowledge and the access to the capital to close those deals. And when you think about it, those 595,000 businesses, 1,600 businesses per day, a lot of that is driven by the baby boomer market. So there's 10,000 boomers daily, every day, retiring in North America, and 19% of them own a small business. And if you go back 10 years, 15 years, it was normal for that business owner to pass the business down to a younger generation, their son or their daughter, that would take it on. And but not anymore. These people, they're going to college. There's a record number of college admissions. People want to work on Wall Street. They want to be doctors and dentists and lawyers and CPAs and all those different things. They don't want to take over, dad's engineering company in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, or mum's restaurant in Berkeley, California. They want to go and do their own stuff. So that the business owner that wants to sell and retire, or frustrated or burnt out, or just wants to come out of their business, they don't know how to do it. We've talked about business brokers a lot. It's not really yet a finely tuned process and machine to get businesses sold. But on the demand side, there isn't the number of buyers. This is one of the reasons why we work so hard in coaching people. We want to change that, not just for you guys to model what we do, but to help all the sellers out there that just want safe, trusted, dependable people to take their business on.
So I have to share this because we've just been talking about Roland. We may as well do this one as well, Carl. Some guy named Moran Poper said he learned it from one of the best, a guy named Carl. So I'm sure you guys have seen Moran's ads as well. So Moran used to work for Carl, learned everything he knew from Carl, and has set up his own coaching business. So you can hang with the OG, or you can go with the student. So. Just
it's really interesting. This I was reflecting on this last week in my downtime. One of the things I'm most proud about is I created this industry. Go back 5 years when I launched Ninja. Nobody was teaching people online how to do deals, how to buy businesses, and I got a whole bunch of people into my program, and some of them did really well, some of them didn't because they didn't follow through. But some of those people are now coaches. They want to do what I do, and some of them are using my IP and my frameworks, and that's not nice. But I think that it's great that there are more people out there coaching and helping people do deals and solving this massive problem that we have. So and I come from an area of abundance. I'm one of those guys. There's a few of us out there now. It's cool. Bring it on.
There's more than a few at this point. It's just kind of funny. So let's see here. Question from Oswald. I'm finding that to do an asset-based loan, there's a lot of appraisal fees, attorney fees, etc. for the financier. They usually pass these fees on to me before they fund the closing payment. These can be as low as 10 to 20K, or for some banks up to 15 beyond. How do you finance these fees if the financier wants the money for these fees before the deal closes?
So I don't. I always negotiate to have those fees as part of the closing costs. And there's three ways you can do that. One is, again, relationships, making sure you're building these relationships and getting these financiers to know you, like you, and trust you. Remember, financiers are in the business of effectively trading money. So they only make money when they lend on deals. So they're massively incentivized to want to work with you. The second point is don't just have one financier, have multiple financiers that you can trade with and negotiate across. And if one financier wants a fee and the other one doesn't, then obviously you can negotiate backwards and forwards. So definitely have those. But I strongly advise against paying any sort of fees upfront. The way the deal making industry works is everything is contingent. Everything, lawyers' fees, CPA fees, financing fees, they're all part of closing costs. And it's all about building relationships and having multiple options in your toolkit. So should never ever pay a fee. There's an interesting question on the Facebook groups where a broker that was selling a business had asked the buyer for a goodwill faith deposit before starting due diligence. And I love it when they ask me that. And I actually go back and say, not only am I not paying that, I want the seller to pay me $50,000 because I'm going to take the risk, commence all the due diligence, start all the legals, burn a whole bunch of time getting this deal closed. I want an upfront fee to protect myself. And when you say that, all of a sudden the goodwill deposit conversation goes away. So again, it's all about building relationships and it's all about negotiation. And the two work very, very closely hand in hand. Go watch the YouTube video that I did a couple of weeks ago. It's about 25 minutes where I talk about my 5, 6, 7 negotiation blueprint to buy a business. And it all starts with that foundation layer of negotiation, which is all about building that relationship. You nail that in the opening part of your deal, the rest flows a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So running low on time here, guys. Let's see here. See what questions we have. So Stephen, I've had the same problem in the UK. I've got a couple of deals currently being negotiated, having problems finding contingent fee-based lawyers and accountants, and funding brokers are asking for upfront fees. Yeah, so I mean that just speaks to what we were just talking about. This is a relationship business. I think Carl, you and I should just get some matching T-shirts and like #ship, right? Like for relationship. At the end of the day, so much of what we do is relationship heavy, right? So much what we can do is relationship heavy, or so much of what we need to do is relationship heavy. So for you to like think about it in any other way is going to be really, really hard to just like walk in and be like, hey, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. By the way, I want you to trust that I can close this deal and, bear all the risk of you not getting paid if the deal doesn't go through. It's a big ask for someone you don't have a relationship with. So invest that time now. Invest that level of commitment to building those relationships.
Yeah, it's really, really important because imagine, Adam, imagine you're a CPA. Yep. And I completely call you out of the blue. You don't know me from anybody. And I say, hey, buddy, I've got this deal. I want you to close this deal for me. And I'm only going to pay you if and when the deal closes. You're probably going to tell me where to go. You're going to say, no. If I called you and I said, hey, buddy, I'm looking to do some deals, looking to buy some businesses. I'm really strong in this sector. I'm about to start my deal origination. Once I've found a deal and I've raised all my financing and I've got a letter of intent to buy that business and all my term sheets, I'd like to come back to you and have you be my CPA to help me close that deal and do that due diligence. You're going to say, great, new client. Thank you very much. Keep in touch. And then as the weeks go on, I'm emailing you, I'm texting you, I'm having beers with you, and I'm giving you updates on all of my progress and where I'm going. And you're going to get to know me, like me, and trust me. You're going to see me as very credible. You're going to be part of the loop. And then once I found a business and I've got a signed letter of intent and I've got all the financing term sheets and I sit down with you and I give you all of the financials and all of the stuff and say, look, this is a walk in the park now. We're almost there. I just need you to do this little bit of work for me. I'm going to pay you on a contingency fee basis, but then we're going to go off. We're going to do other deals together. You can be my CPA to do all my accounting when I buy that business. That's a much easier conversation to have about contingency fees versus me just calling you out the blue and saying, will you do it when you don't even know me? So that's the process that you've got to go through. You just got to spend that time up front and building and nurturing that relationship. It's really, really, really important.
Yeah. It is not a sprint when it comes to relationships. Not a sprint whatsoever. Not at all. So yeah, really key.
It's like going into a bar, walking up to a member of the opposite sex and asking them to marry you. They're probably going to say no. Depends on where you live, but they're probably going to say no. If you date them for a year and you take them on vacation and you look after them and they get to know you, like you, trust you, fall in love with you, want to have a relationship with you, then they're probably going to say yes if all of those things are right. And it's the same thing in deals. You've got to get them to fall in love with you. You've got to get them into that space where they're committed to investing in you and your future.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that commitment's important, right? They've got to be able to recognize and understand the vision you have for your business, the vision you have for, we talked about earlier, You Incorporated, right? CEO and founder of You Incorporated. That's all of you guys. And if you haven't shared that vision with the advisors you look to hope to work with, you're going to struggle to get them involved in a timely fashion without them expecting, cash up front. So last question here. This one's gonna be a fun one from Faith. Carl, how many entrepreneurs have you inspired today? So Carl can talk maybe some specifics, but before then, Carl and Dealmaker Wealth Society and in our kind of broader space, we've got well over 5,000 students over the kind of history of the programs and things like that. Those are all people who are aggressively looking to change their lives. These are people who are aggressively looking to add value, to resolve their why with success. And it's extremely important. It's extremely important from a mission perspective for both Carl and I to create as many successful entrepreneurs as possible. Anything
well said. Well said. And my answer to that question is not enough, which is why I'm constantly doing this and constantly helping entrepreneurs and serving people to do the right thing and buy businesses. It's what empowers me. It's the legacy that I want to build to change as many people's lives as I possibly can. So, and I won't stop until that happens. It's a never-ending goal of mine, and it always has been. Yeah.
Well, and it's a goal that you and I share, right? Like we very much value and prioritize how can we help as many people as possible. It's something that literally keeps us doing what we're doing day in and day out. So to that end, guys, we're super glad you guys are here with us. We're looking forward to continuing to serve you. I am on vacation next week, so we're going to be skipping Mindset Monday again next week. So we've just dealing with the summer schedules here. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks. But until then, start remembering and start thinking about stepping back and resolving your why and where you're going as a deal maker and where you're going as the CEO and founder of You Incorporated. That's what matters to Carl. That's what matters to me. And we're thrilled to always have a chance to be able to serve you guys. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And remember, just one deal away from changing your life. You're just one deal away.
Have a great couple of weeks, guys. We'll see you soon. Hit us up in the Facebook groups. Until then, we'll see you soon. Bye for now, guys.